Alright, hey guys, it's been a while, but I'm back now, and I have a video filmed and edited, except it has to be in two parts, so stay on the lookout for that. I haven't filmed the second part yet, but once those are uploaded, that'll make 3 out of these 6 videos I'm going to upload this entire year. But yeah, today we are doing a video about Duolingo, and kind of if it was worth it, because I have been doing the Duolingo Danish course for the past over a year now, and we're going to kind of compare it to other websites and other places, and sort of what I can and can't do now that I've spent all this time on it. So yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so I figure we should talk about the benefits of Duolingo before we get into the downsides and the comparison. So I would say probably the first benefit is it's really good for getting the basics down, like a very basic kind of vocabulary and a very basic use of grammar. I'm just going to say now they do a really bad job of teaching you grammar, so if you want to get good at grammar, go to YouTube, go to a different website, do something else. You should really be using other websites aside from Duolingo to learn your target language, but anyway, it's pretty good for building a basic vocabulary. Now, it also has a very good, in my opinion, they did a very good job of the way it taught you, so it had tenses and everything, it had different subjects, all of that. All of them are very surface level that they teach you. However, even if they're surface level, they did a good job in the way they taught you. So for example, they will have taught you present tense and then whatever other tense, but they did that in a fairly decent way. Another thing that I am kind of mixed feeling about, but I have a feeling it was kind of good, was it's very, especially towards the beginning, it's very slow and repetitive, which is very boring for some people, but at the same time, that kind of gets the foundations, the very basic stuff kind of ingrained into your head, because that means if, you know, like if you're doing the same lessons over and over again, I'll probably put an example up right here, there's that many on the same topic, that you have to repeat so much you're going to remember it, and that is pretty good actually. Although what that means is, because they spend so much time on the same stuff over and over again, you don't get as much new material. And another thing that I really enjoyed was they have a great community feature, and what that means is they have like forums. So they have the Duolingo forum, you can go on, you can ask questions about your target language. A lot of times people who speak languages that aren't even on the course can help you. Like for example, I was trying to do a little bit of Tagalog. I've stopped now, that was not fun. Don't pursue it if it's not fun, if you can help it. But I was talking to people, and people that don't even, that Tagalog's not even on Duolingo, people that aren't even there for Tagalog helped me with it, and it was pretty cool. And yeah, so you can go on there, ask all the questions you have. If you don't have a native speaker to talk to, or one that's not a very good teacher, you know, just go there, maybe go on like a Reddit or whatever helps for your sort of questions that you have that you can't really find on YouTube, or that you want specific examples for. It's really great for that. It's helped a ton. Alright, so now I'm going to talk about one of my problems with Duolingo, and that is, it's probably something I shouldn't really grovel over, but at the same time, I think it kind of makes sense. So if you're trying to learn a language on there that is probably less popular, like for example, I was doing Danish, right? I think Spanish and French are the most popular courses, but if you look at the amount of content that they have for each one, the Spanish one has way more. Like, I'll show you an example right here. And so what that means is, obviously you get a lot less material, and I wasn't really going to compare this to anything else. I was just going to say, because that's within Duolingo, but if you look at something like, well, let's just segue into my next topic real quick. If you look at what I've been using for a little bit, and I'll explain it, it's called Mongly, then you can see that even on I'll show you another example in a second, but even on a language that's less popular than maybe Spanish or French or whatever the most popular ones are, it still has the same amount of content, and that's been really useful, because I think they said they teach about 5,000 words, which is okay. That's like a higher than probably a B2 level, and Duolingo only teaches around 2,000. Of course, I learned more on top of that, because it doesn't teach a ton. Like I just said, it only teaches you 2,000 words, but for the Danish course, but yeah. Now, I said I was going to compare it to Mondly, and so basically what that is it's a different language learning website, And there are some pros and cons to it. Like, for example, Duolingo is free unless you get the plus version, but nobody I know ever had the plus version. It doesn't really help anyway. It just gets rid of ads and lets you do a few extra things, but it's not that important. Monthly, however, is a subscription-based thing. It does cost money, so if you don't want that, then that is a bit of a problem. However, it's much more useful. Like I said, it teaches you way more material, even for less popular languages. It has more in-depth content. For example, like I said, everything in Duolingo was kind of surface knowledge. That Monthly likes to go a bit more in depth, and so on. And yeah, it basically, like I said, I think the best sort of thing is that no matter what language you're trying to learn on Monthly compared to Duolingo, it'll have more. Like, for example, like I said, I was doing Danish. I clicked on like a midway lesson through in a Danish course, and I learned like a new word or whatever. So spending a year on Duolingo and then spending a day on Monthly, I already learned like a new couple of words. Like, it's astounding how different it is, how much more there is on Monthly. So it's kind of worth the price, in my opinion, if you can afford it, especially if you're trying to do something that doesn't have as much material, if you're not doing like a Spanish course or something. And one more thing that I don't really like about Duolingo is that they use this like robotic voice text to teach you everything. Like when they're speaking out the problem or the questions, it'll be this robotic text, which they did a decent job at coding that, I will be fair. It's pretty good, but the text-to-speech isn't that great overall, because if you use like Monthly or you use basically any other language learning website, they'll use human speech samples, and I think that helps a lot more, because you should be listening and taking in how the language sounds and your target language sounds and everything like that. You should be doing input, which means, you know, just like taking in material. Alright, now let's get into a bit of like how I sort of went about this. So for Duolingo, my sort of study method was I did 10 lessons a day, and what that, up until I completed the course, around 220, 230 days. So a lot of the time was just kind of spent wasted, which I really regret, but yeah, I did more after that. So I did 10 lessons a day. I studied on my own. I didn't really do flashcards until later, since it was so repetitive that I remembered it well enough, which is what I liked. But yeah, so I just kind of did that on my own. I did a lot of grammar study on YouTube, even though I still have very big gaps in my grammar understanding and usage. But you know, we're still working on that. Nowadays I'm doing Spanish, so I have started making flashcards. Of course, I'm not doing that on Duolingo any longer. I'm doing that on Monthly. I stopped using Duolingo. I only use it for review now. So yeah. Så jeg synes det passer, at jeg gør et afsnit på dansk, og jeg er ikke tilfreds med min fremskridt inden læringen. Ja, efter et år, jeg kan læse nogle bøger nu, jeg kan vise tv-shows med danske undertekster, og jeg kan lytte til musik på dansk, selvom jeg har brug for dem for at lidt langsomt, for det er alt for svært, hvis det tæller med nativ hastighed. Jeg kunne have bare sagt hurtigt, ikke? Nativ hastighed. Men jeg kan forstå nogle gange, så det er okay. Jeg kan yltere råd ved flyet. Det er godt nok. Ja, jeg har brug for meget mere øvelse, før det er godt nok. Men ja. Lytte til det her. Den var omkring den her. Jeg vil ikke. Omkring 100 dage. Så ja.
Skole har mig optaget, men jeg er tilbage nu, så ja. Alligevel, jeg har været af min dansk en smule nu, og jeg vil prøve min evne i en indspilling.
Min accent er stadig forfærdelig, men ja, har jeg forbedret? Du fortæller mig farvel. Du kan også sige hej. Og hvis der er nogle danske talende, der ser det, vil det være så venlig at fortælle mig, hvis det er korrekt. Mange tak.
It's a little difficult, but I guess I can watch anime without subtitles. If it's in Danish.
Aside from all of that, like I said, I use YouTube. I like to talk to people who can speak that language that you're trying to learn. It's very good to talk to natives in your target language. You should be listening to music. You should try to be watching shows, even if it's just with subtitles in English or your native language, or in your target language if you're to that level, which I can basically do with Danish shows now. I can watch them in Danish subtitles and understand a decent amount of it. I still got a ways to go. I can read a book. I've read 2 books. I've read quite a few like graphic novels, but you know, I'm still working on that. I still got to look up some words, so I'm not perfect yet, but I got a ways to go. And so yeah, after all this, after over a year using Duolingo, overall, you know, even if it had all those flaws, even if it had all that trouble, and I still need to do stuff on the side, did it work? Yeah, I can still speak. I can listen to a conversation and understand what's going on most of the time. I can read books. I can listen to all of that. I can watch the shows. So overall, even with all the flaws, it still does work. It's just you need to do quite a bit on the side to get it to work. To be fair, I haven't put in a ton of time. I've only put maybe 600 or 800 hours into studying, which isn't a ton. So yeah, I've got a lot to work on. But yeah, so you know, even like I said, even with all the flaws, it still works. Okay, even though I do recommend that you use Monly or something else instead. But yeah, and I plan to have another video sometime. I don't know when. It's going to be very long though, just going into all of the kind of theories, ideas, study methods, everything, just very in depth, so that I don't have to make a ton of videos on it. But yeah, I'll see you later. Bye.